We must move on to the women's fours. Belarus, the defending champions, in lane number 3. Carolyn Tabik, sister of Miriam Tabik, who less than half an hour ago finished second in the lightweight single sculls. So the women's fours, first introduced into the World Championships at the Bled World Championships back in 1989.
Well, New Zealand there going off very hard and fast, but Australia are the crew I fancy. I've been watching them. They were I saw them out in training before the regatta began, and they looked such a class boat, this Australian 4. They're doubling up in the 8 as well. They were in the 8 in Sydney as well, and they are an absolutely class act. And look at that, they've gone right out in front right from the start. It's very, very good.
Yeah, coached by Lyle McCarthy, who's having some success with this group of Australian women.
Technically terrific. They really do move their boats so effectively and efficiently. They make no mistakes, very well drilled, and I think that really probably they're one of the better crews in this regatta.
Well, we're speaking within the first 500 as if they've already passed the finish line, but it's not going to be quite as easy as that, surely, Dan?
No, of course not, but they are a very, very sweet-moving boat. Just look at the way they pick it up. They are being led at the moment by the defending champions, Belarus, but they are a very, very nice-moving boat. If you look at the Australian boat, the way it runs, it hardly checks at all. But they're at the moment just a few feet down on Belarus.
Yes, the Belarus 4 trying to make it 3 in a row because they won the title in '99. That was in St Catharines, and then retained it in 2000 in Zagreb.
Well, Australia's now come back to just about level with Belarus, and New Zealand there close up as well. Good aggressive rowing. A lot of success coming out of New Zealand right now, back to the days when they really were very, very effective back in the 70s and 80s.
So Australia looking very smooth, quiet, economical, just easing their way to the front there, ahead of Belarus. And now just beginning to make their presence felt, the New Zealand 4 between them, between these two crews, and the Belarus 4, well, it's looking as if it's falling about a bit.
It's struggling, it's rolling around a lot. They're throwing water around. They've obviously gone out to try and lead it. Something not going right in that boat at all. They're throwing up a lot of water, but look how calm and effective this Australian 4 is. I just think they're so nice to watch. They lie back quite a little bit there. They do lean back quite a lot, but they are so well drilled, so accurate at the front end there, and the boat just keeps running away. And in the last, 250 meters, they've taken over a length from Belarus. And now New Zealand putting pressure on Belarus, and no wonder the Belarusian boat is beginning to roll around and lose pace, because a lot of pressure just in the last 500 meters.
Yeah, Victoria Roberts, Joanna Lutz, Julia Wilson and Jane Robinson, the 4 for Australia, who've got clear now. Victoria Roberts from New South Wales, Joanna Lutz in the 3 seat from Western Australia, Julia Wilson also from New South Wales, she's at 2, and in the bow from Canberra, from ACT, that's Jane Robinson, and they're in command, and their closest pursuers, their greatest rivals, their neighbours from New Zealand.
Well, look at that, the boat is plumb level. There's hardly any roll in that boat. Blade work really, really good. And conditions here, very nice. Little bit of a breeze on the water. Conditions terrific, but they are just going away and away. That's great, great rowing. Long, effective, good finishes, good clean finishes. And the boat, as I say, not checking at all. But it's New Zealand now who've moved into second place very effectively. Shorter strokes, higher rate, pushing hard, lots of kick on the legs as they take the stroke, but it's very effective. It's put them into second place, and they are now really chasing this Australian 4. They're the only ones who can possibly put them under any pressure at all.
Yes, Nicola Coles for New Zealand in the stroke seat. Sitting behind her, Rochelle Saunders, then Kate Robinson and Jackie Abraham in the bow of that New Zealand 4. And here are the Dutch. They're on the near side in lane number 6 with Femke Dekker in the stroke seat. Be interesting if we get a chance to take a look at the Dutch, because she's regarded as one of the more promising members of their squad, former junior world quadruple sculls champion, and it's only her 2nd year as a senior, but they think a lot of her, and they think that she can certainly play a major part in bringing the improvement in the Dutch squad. But at the moment, it's out front there, Australia by quite a margin, ahead of New Zealand. You can see there it's opening up. Then the black of New Zealand, then the Dutch moving into third, ahead of America, who are on the far side in lane number 1, and China and Belarus, who were charging in the first 500, are rapidly disappearing towards the back of the field, Dan.
Yeah, and now we've got a very nice bit of rowing there from Holland. They're putting pressure on New Zealand. That's pushing New Zealand on a little bit. Australia still out in front, still dominant, but very good rowing from Holland. Quite upright, high rating, but accurate stuff, and, as I say, pressing New Zealand. Australia, both of these crews now coming up a little bit on Australia, but remember, Australia are going to race again tomorrow in the 8s, so they don't really want to overextend themselves if they can help it, but they're looking so good out in front there now.
But there's a real cracking good race on between the Dutch and the Americans. It's not a foregone conclusion about the bronze medal, by no means, and what's happening now is that because the Dutch and the Americans are racing against each other, and they're aware of that, even though they're split by the width of the course, they're closing on the New Zealanders in second place, but they look pretty secure, and it's the Dutch on the near side, Femke Dekker, Anneke Venneber, Karin Tavik and Christine Vink trying to hold off the Americans on the far side, and there's not going to be much between those two. Australia, terrific, a really classy victory here in the women's 4s, easily holding off the New Zealand 4, but who gets the bronze? America on the top? No, I think just the Dutch. Just closest to us, the Dutch, and I think they've just kept the Americans out of the bronze. We need to look at that on the replay, because this is a television line. It's not the actual electronic line. There you can see the New Zealanders by half a length. Now, top are America, bottom are Holland. Oof, it's the Dutch, but only by a whisker. Set 10 years ago, but that was with the help of a strong tailwind in Vienna. New Zealand second, but like Australia, with a talented group of newcomers who are now entering the highest level. Well, there's a warning signal from Australia and New Zealand to the best women in Europe and North America. These women are going to be a real threat, particularly, I think, Dan, in the women's 8s in the years ahead.
Well, absolutely. I mean, these 4 Australian women are going to be rowing in the 8s event tomorrow, and the way they're rowing there, I think they'll be pretty hard to beat.
This is yours. Thank you.
Anita de France doing the honours, handing out the medals, and a very happy Dutch quartet. They did really well to hang on and deny the Americans the bronze. Delighted with that, and that's going to give them a real boost as well.
Femke Dekker.
There's a woman who was in the stroke seat. Really good talent.